Hi everyone, it's Tom. For the last few weeks we've been on the road doing a lot of trainings, a lot of demos, a lot of promotion on the vms4. The reaction's been overwhelming. If I haven't been to your city yet, I'm going to try to get there soon. What I thought would be a good idea is, with the help of Cindy working the video camera, I've put together a short video that replicates a lot of the training we've been doing on the road. This video is for your eyes only. This is for the reps only. This is not to go out to dealers. It's not to be mass emailed. It's not to be put on a Facebook page. It's just for your information only. It's something I want you to have on your computer, so if you have questions in the future, if you want to revisit the training we did a couple weeks ago, maybe you forgot some parts. I've probably forgotten some parts. I'll probably skip over a few things, hopefully not, we'll see. But this is just a real informal video going over the vms4, the software, for your information only.
My name is Alexander Grant and I love the vms4.
Okay, the first thing when you walk up to the vms4, it's important that it's set up correctly, that you go through the proper steps. So once the music's actually playing, there's no fussing around. The first thing you do when you walk up is make sure before you, this is even before you power it up, make sure we're on the 4 out switch, not on the 8 out. Once the unit's turned on, it'll only play or be set up for how it's set when it's turned on. So if you power it up and you're in the 8 out and you flip it over to the 4 out, it's not going to matter. So you need to make sure before you power it up, make sure you're on the 4 out. The way you can tell if someone's set it up in the 8 out is that the music will be coming through channels 1 and 2 rather than 3 and 4. The next thing you want to do is make sure channels 2 and 3 are set on USB, and then depending if you're using channels 1 and 4, they can be set on USB or analog depending on your configuration. Most of the time you'll just leave them on analog for the sake of your demo. Also make sure that your crossfader is set in normal. You can adjust the curve however you want. Also, it's a good idea to make sure you're set on channel 2 and channel 3 with the crossfader curve. So again, before you even power up the software, power up the unit, make sure the switches on the front are set correctly. Okay, now we've checked our switches on the front. We're good to go. We're going to power up the unit. It's a good idea to make sure the volumes are down, master volume's down. Also, when you're powering it up, notice what version you have. Currently, and it is beginning of August 2010, we're on version 3.8. When you power it up, you'll see these lights come on, 3, and there were 8 there. That's how you can tell what version you have. I'll do it again. It's 3, 8, and that means we have the correct version for this time. If you have any questions about what version's out, you can go to vms4dj.com. So now the unit's powered up, we're ready to turn on the software, and then we're going to start going through our presentation. Now the vms4 is powered up, the USB is plugged into our computer, the vms4 comes with the software disk, that's been installed into our computer, and now we're ready to turn on the software, which is located right on the desktop. Before we do that, we are going to go into see what comes on the disk. So virtual DJ, we have virtual DJ, we have firmware updater where we can update our hardware very easily, virtual DJ, user's guide, a bunch of different things. Right now we're going to open up our virtual DJ software. It can be installed in multiple languages, English, Spanish, quite a few. Now we have the screen up. Now we're actually going to go talk about the unit with the software together.
I love the vms4. It's awesome.
Okay, now we got the vms4 powered up. We have it hooked up to our laptop or our computer with the software up, and now we're going to start into our presentation. So the first thing I do is try to differentiate the vms4 from some of the competitive units. The other units out on the market typically have 1 microphone input. We have 2 microphone inputs with 3-band EQ and gain on each microphone input. Also, I show the XLR 1/4 inch microphone inputs on the back. The next thing we typically talk about is the number of inputs. The competitive units have typically 2 inputs. We have 4 inputs. The other thing we talk about is all the 4 inputs are switchable between USB and analog. None of the other controllers have that. That is a huge feature. We also have a built-in mouse pad, which most of the other controllers don't have as well. We also talk about being able to assign the crossfader, which is very cool. One of the things this does that the other units don't do is because the 4 inputs are selectable between analog and MIDI, I can actually select them all to be analog and use this as a straight mixer without having to hook it to a computer. So for instance, today I was doing a training, and say your computer was in the shop for a week and you had some gigs coming up, you could plug in your CD players, your microphone, your powered XSP speakers, and you're good to go. With any other controller, you're kind of stuck. So that's huge. 2 microphone inputs with XLR 1/4 inch, 4 input mixer, selectable between USB and analog, and also a configurable sound card where you can go 4x4 or 8x2, and a real mouse pad built in. So those are huge. The next thing we're going to go into is, and this will come up, the EQ and the channel faders. When you move the EQ on the mixer, you'll notice they don't move on the screen. When you move the faders, they don't move on the screen. You'll probably get some people calling saying their unit's broken. That's done by design. If we were to have these control the screen, that would affect the sound as well, and it would actually not be quite as clean. We did it both ways. It's not as clean as having the audio go through the mixer and having the EQ, gain, and trim controlled on the mixer versus controlled on a program. Now, one thing that's cool on here, if you're using other software or you upgrade to the Pro version and you want this to control the EQ on the screen and you want the different things to move and work and actually the audio being EQ'd in the program rather than in the mixer, you can disable the trim and the 3-band EQ on all the channels simply by holding down the Q button 4 and turning the unit on. The reason I bring that up, there's another reason, is if someone gets a unit and all this is disabled and they are playing and they turn up the volume, there's a chance it's not going to sound great. It's not going to sound terrible, but it's not going to sound good. The way to get around that, the test, is to have them turn their EQ off. It should be a complete kill, no signal, no sound, and then you'll know if then they have the EQ on. If they do this and the sound is coming through, have them hold down Q button 4, turn the unit back on. They'll probably have to restart their software, and then they can adjust the trim and the EQ, and their music should sound great again. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about, we have our music up on our computer, and we have our vms4 ready to go. We're going to load some tracks in. So this is kind of a new development. There's a couple ways to do it. One way is with the mouse pad. The new way to do it, which is the preferred way, is to hold down the shift. Using the effects selector, I can go through my music here. Using the sample selector while holding down the shift, I can go through my music here. I press that, I load the song. I'm going to come over to deck B, do the same thing, load the song. Now I'm ready to make some music. Let's bring up the volumes. This sound's not going to be great because this is just for you guys though. So now we've got music playing. We're ready to go. The first thing I usually point out is the hot starts. Simply press the buttons to load them up. To delete them, hold down shift. That deletes them. Demonstrate the pitch control. You'll see it move on the screen. Pitch bend. Then the next thing we have is looping. That one wasn't very good, but oh well. You've seen me do better and worse than that, I'm sure. We have smart loop in here, which is one-touch looping. If we want to stretch that out, we can hold down shift and search to shorten it or to lengthen it once it's in there. So kind of fun, a lot more fun when it's a better loop. You'll notice on the screen the sound wave. You'll also notice the beats up above. So tons of great information. The next thing we're going to do is the effects.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. The next thing is the music, or the effects. The next thing is the effects. You'll see on the screen beat grid, backspin, etc. Basically, on the vms4, call up my effect. Press the button. Some of the effects will give you parameter control. On and off, very easy. The next thing I usually demonstrate is a sampler. I can select my sample. I have my volume for my sample. Siren's always a lot of fun. Sometimes you might want to stop the music while you do it. On and off. Really simple. Okay, so we've covered the effects, sampling, pitch control. We also demonstrate the scratching. One thing that's really important to point out on this unit is to have them pick the unit up. It's very robust. We point out it's not a toy. It's built to last for years. It's built to take the abuse. Also have them touch the wheels. They're very solid. People will come up and say, hey, those are Pro Scratch 2 wheels or Velocity wheels. These wheels have a lot of credibility. So now we've gone through the basics here. We're going to go a little bit more in depth. You'll notice on the screen we're in the browser mode right now. Watch the mouse on the screen. We're going to go over to the sampler mode. Now you'll see the volumes going up and down as I go through the samples. And you'll notice there's some empty sample banks on there. If I want to load a sample, the first thing I do is find an empty bank. I usually scroll around. Now I hit record, do a loop. And then when I turn off the record, you'll notice it says sample number 8. That's where I did my sample. So let's play that back. That's the sample I just did. So you can load up your own samples right in here, right on the fly. Now the next thing we're going to do is go to effects. This gives you a visual on your effects. The blue box is the deck on the right. The red box is the deck on the left. And you can actually go in and see what's going on. And you'll notice as I turn the parameter knob, it's going to be hard to see. But the delay bar over there, shorter and longer. So it's going to give you a visual. And you'll see the activate box light up. Break. Backspin. Overloop. And a different doubles is real popular. Beat grid. If you want to modify the beat grid, you can too. You can actually have some fun with it. So real fun. And then flanger as well. You kind of get a visual. Now if we go to the next tab, record. And we just hit record and we're recording our set right on a file. Real simple and easy. So we're going to go back to browser. So right about now there should be a ton of excitement in your store. So I always start with the audio first. One other thing too that creates a lot of excitement. We have the touch strip here. It doesn't do anything unless you hit the shift button. This allows you to go through the song. If you hit the top, it takes you to the top. I can go through, I can drop wherever I want to drop. Real simple, real easy. Now one thing else that's cool that I haven't pointed out yet is, and people love to see this, we have a sync feature. This deck is 124, this deck is 133. I'm going to hit the sync button. Now they're both 124. We can see the sound waves up top. We're going to try to get them right on beat. And if they're on beat, it doesn't sound great on here. If they're on beat, you can actually do a beat mix really simply and easily. But it just allows people to see how that feature works. Also get a visual on the windows up above. Okay, so we've covered a lot of the basics. Like I said, we also want to point out everything on the back, the separate ground wire connections, the XLR quarter-inch mic inputs, the XLR outputs, cover everything on the front, have people pick it up. And then now we're going to go for what's really going to set people off. I'm going to hold down the shift button, go through my files using my effects select, go to video, using my sample select. We're going to load up some videos. And now we're mixing video with a cube effect going. We're scratching video. We're putting effects on video, audio effects. Little flange. Let's do a little siren. So what's cool is we can do video on here. We can take that screen, that's the master, and drag it out to another monitor if we want. The quality's another computer monitor. The quality's going to be so-so. Really what this is for is to allow you to practice mixing video and get the hang of it. To get the video out of the computer, you need to upgrade to Virtual DJ Pro. The upgrade price, and I'm going to send you guys a spreadsheet comparing them, is $149. What we did, which we think is really cool, is if it's 2 in the morning and you're DJing and you want to upgrade, you just go to Configure, open up the box, go to Upgrade, put in your credit card, and you're ready to rock and roll. Now what the upgrade is going to give you is not only the ability to take video out of your computer, it's also going to give you a lot of video effects. It's going to give you more audio effects. It's going to give you the ability to reconfigure your sound card, to change your inputs, the ability to bring up a new screen on your skin, and also to bring in your iTunes playlist as well. So right now we've designed it as a plug-in and play system. It's designed, if you upgrade to the Pro, that's where you can really go in and customize a lot of things. Okay, that's kind of a brief presentation on how to demo and what are some of the important things to cover on the vms4. Also, it's important to point out the light up knobs. I don't think any of the other controllers have that. There's a few things that are critical to the success of this product. One is making sure it's on display. Two, even more so, is making sure people understand it. Our goal is to have this be the hardware that everybody uses. It's important that people identify vms4dj.com is the website for this. When they go to that website, they'll see the mapping for Tractor. We're adding Mix 5s, we're adding PC.DJ, we're working on some other very popular titles, but we want it to be where no matter what the customer's been using, what they love, if they're looking for a controller, they want something with a lot of inputs, they want something that's flexible, they want something with multiple mic inputs, they want to be able to hook up their 1200s and mix it with their music, or hook up their computer and mix video on here and have their Technics 1200s or Radius 1000s provide the music. We want this to be the platform. And we think we've got a good thing going here, but it's important everybody knows everything it does. So if anybody has any questions, anything, call me anytime. We want to make sure this is a success. Again, vms4dj.com. Get familiar with that site. Also, really important, I know this is a new category for a lot of you. It's important that you become experts at it. We don't go in and sell an intelligent light and without knowing some of the competition. So with this product, it's important to ask your dealers, and we saw a lot of it in New York, Florida, different place I've been, where a dealer would carry 3 or 4 controllers and they would have their favorite. And hopefully if we've done everything right, when we left there they were going, this is the XYZ killer, or this is the whatever killer. So get the feedback from your dealer. Say, hey, what's your best selling controller? I mean, you guys are all great and I know you know a lot of this, but ask them, what's your best selling controller? How many do you sell? Why do you sell it? What do people like about it? You know, set the stage and then say, well, you know, let's check this out. 2 microphone inputs. How many does your best-selling one have? 4 channels. How many does your best-selling one have? Are the channels switchable? Oh, okay. What kind of mic inputs does it have? Oh, do they have mapping for a bunch of other software? Go ahead and pick ours up and pick theirs up. So all those things are going to build on the VMS4. So there's no other product on the market like this. We have a huge opportunity. The other thing is, we know people are working on their version to try to take us off. Other DJ companies saw this at NAMM. I don't know if you saw our booth back in January. There was every engineer, every other DJ company manufacturer hanging out in our booth, taking pictures, doing everything else. So we have a limited amount of time to flood the market with these and to make sure that when people think of 4-channel controllers and 2 mic inputs and all that stuff, that the only name that comes to mind is American Audio and VMS4. So again, any questions, you're at a dealer, call me on my cell phone, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, whatever. Together we're a winning team. I hope this video helps you. Keep it someplace close so you can review it in the future. So thanks again for supporting American Audio. You guys are doing great, and we know this is going to be a hit for everybody, including you.
The VMS4, and I co-sign this all the way.